Hello and welcome to a new Star Wars Legion video. Today we're going to be looking at the two new battle forces that released a couple weeks ago. I've wanted to get this video out since they came out, but a lot of stuff in life's been going on, and I previously recorded this video, but I just realized the file is missing, so we're going to be re-recording that. But anyways, we have the Wookiee Defenders and Experimental Droids battle forces. One for Separatist Alliance, one for the Wookiees. Obviously, the Wookiee one has been a long time in coming, been highly requested by a lot of players of this game. And even though I don't enjoy or play Wookiees, I am really happy for all the people that do, because this is something that we have needed for a while. Wookiees have kind of been in a sad state where Rebels and Republic don't really want them in their normal lists. So this battle force is great because we'll get to play against Wookiees again. But anyways, let's go and look at the Wookiee one first because it is the most exciting one and because I've been hyping it up a lot. So let's go over, I guess, the allowed units first. So for the commander slots, you can take Yoda, Chewbacca, or a Wookiee Chieftain. Special Forces, you can take 0 or 1 ARC Trooper units, no strike teams though, as usual for battle forces. You can also take any Wookiee Warriors, so this is Wookiee Warriors, Noble Fighters, the melee ones, or Wookiee Warriors, the Kashyyyk Defenders, the shoot ones. Corps, you can have 0 or 2 Phase 2 Clone Troopers. Support is 0 or 1 Bark Speeders, or rad NAS fluttercrafts, as many as you want there, up to the rank requirements, which you'll see in a bit. And for your heavy slot, you can take either 1 infantry support platform or 1 TX-130 class saber tank, or just 0 of either. And you can't have any unique upgrades, so no Boil on the Phase 2s, no 5s or Echo on the ARCs. So a bit sad there. You're not really going to be able to build that Yoda meta, I think is what this allowed units right here tell me. Yeah, because you can't get enough clones, you can't get enough Barks, you can't have Echo Strike Team. I mean, I guess you could have Echo just in a regular ARC Trooper unit, but I'm not sure about the benefits. And of course, without Boil, well, you can't even have Echo because he's a unique upgrade, and he can't even have Boil. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to build a Yoda medalist with this battle force. But you can put a lot of Wookiees with Rab, NAS, Fluttercrafts in, and then just have Yoda and Chewbacca as kind of like your secondary units. And they'll still probably do good. Anyways, the rank requirements are Commander. Each army must include 1 to 2 Commander units. Special Forces. Each army may include up to 4 Special Forces units. Corps. Each army must include 3 to 6. Support. Each army may include up to 3 support units. And Heavy. Each army may include up to 1 Heavy unit. And then the skirmish rank requirements are below. Pretty similar, just less, basically. Yeah, 2 to 4 core, 3 special forces. Yeah, very similar to, well, you can have up to 4. It's similar to the normal list building restrictions, just you can have an extra special forces and 1 less heavy, which is not a bad trade at all, actually. Anyways, the special rules are: a Wookiee Defenders battle force is part of the Galactic Republic faction. Wow! The following unit counts as a core unit for the purposes of army building and battle cards. Wookiee Warriors, Noble Fighters. So these ones are the melee Wookiees. So that's basically why this list lets you have 0 or 2 Phase 2 Clone Troopers, and it requires 3 cores. So you can take the melee Wookiees as core units, which is really good. Your army must include at least 3 Wookiee Trooper units. Also really good. The first time a miniature in each Wookiee Trooper unit is defeated each round, that unit may make a Speed 1 move. So, I guess this is like the Wookiees getting angry and moving up towards their opponents faster, which can be good. You can't trigger a charge, melee attack, or an agile gain 1 dodge token off of this, but you can move into melee and be safe. Or you could move behind some LOS blocking terrain and not get shot anymore. Which I actually think will probably be the big strategy, especially if you have shooty Wookiee special forces in your list. Because they can take shots into a gun line, and then they get shot back, and if they lose a guy, which they probably will do, it's 3 wounds to It's three hits to kill a single Wookiee, and they have white saves with no surges. But then that entire unit gets to move behind cover and not get shot anymore. So really good. This simple rule is just powerful. That extra speed on move is great. Just, yeah, because you take a guy and then you move behind LOS blocking terrain and you can't get shot anymore. It's really powerful. And then the special unit card that they added to this battle force is the Rab Nas Fluttercraft. They have a new version. The only difference is this one is 2 points more and gives you the attack run ability. So at the start of this unit's activation, it may choose to increase or decrease its speed by 1 until the end of its activation. So because this is Speeder 2, you can move 3 times now at speed 3. So before the Rab Nas Fluttercraft was fast, but now it's basically teleporting across the map. Yeah, that's super speed. Because I believe its base size is similar to that of the Bark Speeder or the Saber class tank. Well, is it the Saber class tank or is it the AAT or ATST? I don't exactly remember what the base size of this guy is, but it's bigger than a regular Imperial Speeder bike. So this thing's just gonna zoom, because that base size adds up each move you do. So the Overrun Gunner can be good, just to move on top of them and make multiple attacks against the same units. But I think it'll probably be better just to use the Bowcaster Gunner, because you have 4 dice, 2 reds, 2 blacks, Surge to hit, Pierce 1. You can move, and then after you move, reposition to get a guy in your rear arc. Basically do a Tokyo Drift and shoot someone with your butt gun. And then you can move again to get back where you were, and then pivot again to be set up for next turn. So basically, if you're behind LOS blocking terrain for this big vehicle, you could move into range, flip around to shoot your gun, and then move out of range to flip around and be ready to do it next turn. So, and I believe the gunner is only 15 points, so in total that's about 72 points. That's not a bad unit. That's a little bit more expensive than your base Imperial Speeder Bike unit, and that's more defensiveness with the cover 2. I also have more health, so you're not losing half your dice once you take 3 wounds like the normal unit. And you have a slightly more consistent dice pool, I think. Not as much damage, but more consistent. Yeah, overall, not bad, because you can also just objective hog like the triple bark lists are doing right now. Like, this is basically just a bark speeder, but with higher speed, potentially higher base size. Again, I don't remember what the actual base size is. And a gun that's, I guess, more situational to use. But this list isn't really about fire support, so I really don't think you're really gonna be missing the bark speeder, just because you only can run 2 units with fire support at max. And phase 2s in general, they're good to fire support off. They're good to use for fire support, but I think phase 1s are better just because they have better heavy weapon options to add to your dice pool. But overall, though, this is actually a really good battle force. You can take 6 melee Wookiees, which is a melee skew. A really powerful melee skew too, because each Wookiee miniature has 3 HP. So I don't know, you defend against 7 hits. You probably are going to take 5. Probably going to take like 5 hits on average, I'd say. I'd say like 5 hits average. So one of your guys dies, you do additional speed on move, or you move behind LOS not to take any more damage. And you have 6 of those type of units. So yeah, that's really good. And you obviously can take up to 4 shooty Wookiees, or 3 shooty Wookiees with 1 ARC Trooper, or just 1 ARC Trooper, and that's really good, because ARC Troopers, of course, are great for just shooting stuff and staying on the move. And the shooty Wooks have that new ability which gives them a move once they lose somebody, so they can move out into the open, take a casualty, and then move back and not get shot. Yeah, I don't know, that speed 1 move, just so good. Really no way to get around it. That's really good. You can build some really good lists with this, like 3 Fluttercrafts with a bunch of melee wooks, or a few shooty wooks with a few melee wooks with a few Fluttercrafts. Obviously, I think as a commander, you're probably going to take the Wookiee Chieftain in most of your squads. Maybe Yoda and Chewbacca, though that is a pretty expensive investment. Overall, your commander slot's looking great, though, between the 3 options. Special Forces looking excellent. Corpse is, yeah, basically melee wooks. Phase 2s aren't bad, but I think this list wants to use melee wooks a lot more. Speaking of which, you definitely want to use those generic Wookiee command cards now. Because half your list is Wookiee now, and those Wookiee command cards will actually be super useful now, because before you could only really use them if you had a Wookiee commander and Wookiee units in your squad, which took up your special forces so you couldn't run snipers, which was a bad move, and it took up your commander slot, and usually you want that for like Yoda, Anakin, or a clone commander. You could have Chewbacca and Yoda, but even then, you probably just want clones at that point, just for the fire support off of Yoda. So yeah, it makes those command cards, those generic Wookiee command cards, great to use again, because, hey, your entire list is basically eligible for this. So yeah, I think in the casual spectrum, this is like S+ tier. Probably actually S++ tier. Because you can run all Wookiees, and I know a lot of people are going to love that. For competitive, I think this is either A+ to S, just because of the amount of wounds. Because if you put a heavy unit on like your Wookiee unit, now that's a 12 wound unit. That's a lot of damage you have to do, because it's basically the survivability of a B1 unit, because they don't have Surge on defense and they roll whites. But you have 4 more health, which is pretty good. Then you add on tenacity, so you hit harder if you lose that extra dude. Yeah, it's definitely pretty strong. I think this battle force is great. I think the counter to it, there's really, I guess the counter would just be to keep shooting this list. Obviously, if you split your fire, obviously if they do the strategy where once you kill a guy, that unit moves behind cover, the remainder of the units in that are not going to be that many, and one of those will probably be pretty weak. So once they finally get into melee range, they're only going to be throwing 2 to 4 black dice, assuming they have no heavies. So it's not going to hurt that hard. The issue will be that your entire list will be engaged in melee, so you'll have to go to like all your units using their fists to clear off these Wookiees. Because if you do withdraw from them, and your other unit shoots that Wookiee unit, if they survive, they'll do a speedrun move right back to the unit that just withdrawed from them, using that special speedrun move ability. So the counter of these guys, I think, is just standby. Standby will hurt them a lot, and just trying to reduce their numbers to where they're not ultra effective at annihilating your list. Now, of course, they probably will just be playing objective, countering the secondary objective, and hoping that you come to them. In that situation, you're really going to need to play carefully. If you have a force user, obviously using them to max capability. If you have no force users, then just going in to try to punch Wookiees or shoot them, or I guess what you would do is have a couple of your units move up, stand by, and then have your last unit move up into them. And if they want to move out and take out that unit, then they get shot by all the other units. So yeah, it could be interesting. So yeah, I think this list can be countered. It's not like Dark Troopers or Blizzard Force where it's just super oppressive. This one is more, I mean, of course, new Blizzard Force is no longer overpowered. It's just great. And Dark Troopers, you know, any sort of impact, at least impact 6 or 8 can counter them. But this list, it doesn't really seem that bad. I think you just have to keep shooting it and not let the Fluttercrafts really mess you up. I definitely think the Fluttercrafts are what's gonna really make this list good, because yeah, flying around. I think the Mettle of this list will probably be like 3 melee wooks, 3 shooty wooks, 3 Fluttercrafts, and then like 3, and then a Wookiee Chieftain, and you maybe fit an ARC Trooper unit in just for the heavy like aim, pierce 1, shot that just wipes out an enemy unit. Because the shooty wooks are good. Obviously, Separatist P1 droids prove that 7 white dice and a red die with critical 1 can actually be pretty good. And the shooty wooks have surge to hit, so they're even better. And they also have sharpshooter 1, and that bowcaster gives them impact 1, pierce 1. So they're actually a lot better. That's a really good dice pool. But it's still not going to hit super hard. I think on average you're getting like 4 or 5 hits, which after cover is like 3. 2 if they have low profile, and then of course dodge tokens, because this is a dodge heavy meta right now. So they can definitely hit hard, but the ARC Troopers, I mean, I guess the ARC Troopers hit just a little bit harder, so. But yeah, this is really good. A+ to S tier for competitive meta, double S tier for casual, because this is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of Wookiees. I'm not going to be playing a lot of Wookiees because I don't have this many Wookiees, and also I'm not interested in playing Wookiees, but hey man, for those people that enjoy playing Wookiees, I salute you. You finally have your moment to dominate, I guess, and play the game how you want to play it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I have to say about this Battle Force. It looks good. I like it. Alright, next up we have the experimental droids. I guess the reason why I like the Wookiee Defenders is it's just not as oppressive as Blizzard Force. Yeah, it's just good and really good. Alright, next up, experimental droids. Alright, so I guess we'll go over special rules first. I think that'll work a bit better. So, in experimental droids, an experimental droids battle force is part of the Separatist Alliance faction. I thought it wasn't the experimental droids battle force. I don't know. Alright. The following counts as a core unit for the purposes of army building and battle cards. IG-100 Magna Guard, prototype assassin droids. This is the new unit that we'll look at in a little bit. This is similar. This is basically the same exact reading as the Wookiee Noble Fighters. So essentially, this is also going to be a melee skew list. Now, one important thing to note, and this is the same wording as the Wookiees, I'm sure. What is it? For the purpose of army building. Yeah, okay, so just army building and battle cards means that there's still technically special forces units for the purposes of command cards and order pool. So if you do use melee Wooks in your list, or in this list, IG-100 Magna Guard prototype assassin droids, they'll still be special forces tokens, so you could potentially have really great order control. Especially for the Wookiee list, if you just use like a bunch of Wookiees and a commander with an ARC Trooper unit, you have 1 commander token and probably like 6 to 9 special forces tokens at that point. And obviously if you use flutter crafts, you're going to have some support tokens in there, but that's still really great order control. For this list, it's the same deal. Your Magna Guards are just special forces, so yeah, you can use them a lot. The reason why it counts for battle cards is obviously for hostage exchange. That way you still have a core unit to use. Obviously the Wookiee core, the Wookiee Noble Fighters is going to be great because they can speed 1 move. Second turn, they lose a guy, they do a third speed 1 move, and they speed 1 move 2 more times. So do like 5 speed 1 moves between turns 1 and 2 to get back to their zone. And also, it's 9 wounds to defeat their unit compared to the normal core, which is like 5 or 6. So you're looking at a lot of wounds to have to chew through to kill those Wookiee hostage carriers. Alright, the special rule, anyways, back to experimental droids. The special rules for this one is, at the start of each activation phase, choose up to 1 of your commander units. If you do, put 3 surge tokens on that unit's card. Once during its activation, a friendly Special Forces, Core, or Support unit that has the AI keyword may perform a free action to spin a surge token on the chosen commander unit. If it is at range 3, 1 to 3, you don't have to be specifically at the range 3, it's 1 to 3. That's just how that is worded. If it does, choose one of the following. Increase their speed by 1 during their next move action this turn. Gain 1 aim or 1 dodge token. Add 1 black and 1 white dice to their attack pool during their next attack action this turn. Remove up to 2 suppression tokens. So, basically, the wall of text means that, yeah, so pretty much it's a lot of text, but it basically comes down to put 3 surge tokens on your commander card. Once a unit with AI that isn't a commander or heavy activates, this doesn't trigger on heavies, which will actually matter. They get an aim or dodge, they increase their speed by 1 during their next move, or they add a black and a white to their next attack, or they move to suppression if they're about to panic. Which is really strong. I really like this. One thing to note about the increase their speed by 1 is only for that next move action. So if you're playing the Magna Guards, the new ones, they do have charge. You don't get 2 speed 3 moves, you get 1 speed 2 and 1 speed 3. Which doesn't sound as good as 2 speed 3s, obviously, but it is still really strong, mainly because there's a strategy where if you're just at range 2, a melee unit will not be able to reach you, but they'll be off by like, I think it's an inch or less than an inch. This reduces this makes that this means with that speed 3 move and then a speed 2 move that math no longer works against this list for at least 3 of the units. Now, of course, these search tokens do stack. It doesn't say anything about these tokens being removed off the card. So round 1 you could save your 3 tokens, and then round 2 now you have 6, 1 for each of your core Magna Guards. So all 6 units are doing a speed 3, then a speed 2 move to charge into melee. Yeah, or you save it up until, I don't know, turn 6, and now you have 12 tokens, and you just spam everything. Of course, each unit can only use 1 ability, so you're not going to be able to have like a single Magna Guard gain a dodge, increase their speed, and add the extra dice. They can only do 1 of them, so probably not the most smart idea to save all of your tokens, but you definitely want to save some just to have that extra leverage towards the later turns in the game. But yeah, this is a really cool rule. It is really offset by the units you take in this battle force. So the commander option's great. You have a super tactical droid, which includes Kalani and Kraken, because they're only subtitles. All 3 super tactical droids, the base one, the subtitle Kraken, and the subtitle Kalani, all are unique. So you can only take 1 of them anyways, but commander super tactical droid means you can take any of them, which is great. You can also take a T-Series tactical droid if you're just gonna go for a cheaper option. Your special forces include BX Series droid commandos, no strike teams, because this is a battle force. The IG-100 Magna Guard prototype assassin droids, which would technically be core for the purposes of army building, but for your order pool are special forces. And corps, you can have 2 B1 battle droids, or 2 B2 battle droids, or 0 of each. So it's not required to take these units, they're just here. With the B1s, you could take 2 with rocket launchers or repair bots to keep your Magna Guards alive a bit longer. I think it's kind of a waste, because usually with B1s you want to take a lot more than just 2, but you do just run 2 B1s with repair droids when you run them with repair droids, so yeah, you never know. You could also put repair and rockets on them. So, not a bad option on your B1s with your core slot, though it might be better just to take the 6 Magna Guard prototype assassin droids. Your support includes droidicas, and obviously those are kind of meh right now. And your heavy includes the snail tank. Yeah, that's a long title. The NR 9 and 99, yeah, you guys get it. It's the snail tank, but it's the prototype snail tank. It's the prototype tank droid. You can have 0 unique upgrades. I don't think there's any unique upgrades on any of these things. Yeah, I don't remember there being any unique command upgrades that you could take on the Supers or the T-Series. And I know that none of these units have, like, unique heavies or personnel options, so kind of redundant, I guess? I don't know. Just in case something, I guess, comes out. Yeah, I mean, I guess with this battle force, the droidicas could be used. Well, I guess we'll do rank requirements before we get into whole list building. Okay, rank requirements. Commander. Each army must include 1 to 2 commander units. Special forces. Each army may include up to 3 special forces units. Corps. Each army must include 3 to 6. Support. Each army may include up to 3. Heavy, you can have up to 2. So this is literally exactly the same as normal list building. The only exception is there's no operative slot, because there are no operatives in this battle force, which is interesting. We haven't had a non-operative thing in a while. Skirmish is the same here. The exception is that you can still have 2 commanders if you want to. You can still have 3 special forces if you want to as well. You do go down to 2 to 4 as normal. You go down to 1 support, and you can have up to 1 heavy, which is normal as well. I guess we can look at the units before we go into list building. I think that's a good idea. All right, the new prototype IG-100 Magnet Guard Assassin Droids. I said that out of order. The new Magnet Guards, basically. The only ones you can use in this list. You can't use the old ones. You can only use these ones, because only these ones are the prototypes. Special Forces rank, obviously. 4 units, 4 minis for the squad at 60 points. So 12 points cheaper. You get an extra model. They have the AI Dodge Move, Charge, Immune, Melee Pierce, and Unhindered. So they lose Retinue and Guardian Commander, which I think is okay. I don't really think you need a Guardian, a super tactical droid. They usually just stay behind LOS blocking terrain and just support your list. Maybe take a range 3 shot at something that moved up, which I think is fine. The Retinue loss, though, is really big. That'll hurt them quite a bit, losing that extra aim or dodge. They also have no surge to hit, and their Electrostaff is now white and black instead of 2 black. So that's another big hit, and probably their biggest hit is going down to Courage 1 and Health 1 per model. So if you take a heavy, you're looking at a 5 health unit compared to their old 8 health unit with a heavy. So less health overall. You do have more models, so if you take a range 2 shot with your pistol, you're rolling a lot more dice. You're rolling an extra white and a black, basically. And the prices of the heavies don't change, which I think is fine, because this unit's still going to end up cheaper than the older ones. But yeah, I guess the lack of surge to hit hurts them. I think the biggest weird change is why they changed the Electrostaff. Because without surge to hit, that white and that black die are not hitting well. Like, if they left surge to hit and changed the Electrostaff, I think I would understand the change. But they kind of did a double nerf. Those white dice aren't really going to roll a hit. And if they do, it's probably just going to offset the black die that rolled a surge that now needs to be re-rolled. So, yeah, not exactly the biggest fan of that Electrostaff change, because it does kind of make me, as a player who looks at dice pools, think that the pistol's your better option at range. Just use your pistol, basically. It's the same as your melee. Though, the advantage of using charge is to get in and not get shot by everything in their gun line. And just, your melee is still going to be better than all the other units, even though those white dice aren't really going to contribute much. So overall, they're a little bit worse. However, which is good, because obviously you can run 6 of them. If you could run 6 of the old guys, that would be redunculously overpowered. Well, maybe actually more overpowered than Blizzard Force. So yeah, so I'm glad for that. And they are a red save unit still, so as a core unit for Separatist, being able to spam 6 of these with red saves is really good. I think that's probably the shining part about these guys, is they have red saves, and Separatists finally have an option to run 6 red save core units. And you can still put 3 BX series commando droids with these guys. Obviously, since you guys count as core, you can't take 9 of them. 3 as special forces, 6 as core. You can only take them as core, so 6 as core. But then you can add on the 3 non-strike team commando droid units for 9 units with red saves, which sounds pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, now because these guys do count as core for the purposes of only army building and battle cards, you can't use the T-Series Tactical Droids Coordinate Core Trooper, because they're only core for army building and battle cards. So during the actual game and for command card purposes, they're special forces. So T-Series Tactical Droid Direct Core won't work on them. The AI direct of the Super Tactical Droid will work on them, though. So yeah, these guys, I think they're really good for this battle force, because they're a red save unit that you can run 6 of. yeah, and even though they're overall worse than the other Magna Guards, they're not like I said, you could run 6 of them, so it's more of a balance, I feel like, than it is a hard nerf. Because this is a brand new unit, they can only be run in this battle force. You can't even run the other Magna Guards in this battle force, so yeah. Overall, though, I think it's good. Red saves, you could run 6 of them, give them extra speed, or aims, or dodges, or add extra dice to their dice pool. Make them not panic. That'll be good for their Courage 1. So, yeah, they're not going to be bad. Okay, the tank droid. This one got changed quite a bit, actually. So, the differences are Arsenal 3 instead of Arsenal 2, which is kind of silly because it only has 1 missile. Though you can get range 2 and use your ion cannon, your heavy repeater, and your missile now. Everything else is exactly the same on here, except for the fact that it can't transport anymore, and instead has command node now. So during the command phase, this unit may issue an order to a core unit at range 1. Basically direct, but less range. Now obviously, since these guys are special forces during the actual game, this direct to a core unit will only work on the potential 2 B1 battle droids you take in your squad. So, kind of mad, to be honest, because I do think the advantage of this list is taking 6 of the Magna Guards. If you do take B1s, you're just putting repair droids on them or rocket launchers, so they really won't need orders that much. And if they do, then you just use a direct from like a super tactical droid, direct to them. They chain it back to a Magna Guard. Though if you have this thing in your list, then I guess you could AI to Magna Guard. This thing gives an order to the battle droids, which direct it to another Magna Guard unit. But if you're not taking any B1s, then this ability is basically useless. Well, this ability is useless because unless you take a B2, then yeah, you can't use it at all. The other big change is they don't have Surge to hit anymore, which is pretty huge. Their heavy repeating blasters do not have critical 1 or impact 1. I don't remember if they did or not. The experimental ion cannons no longer have impact 1 either, and you also do not have the extra white die, which is not a big deal, to be honest. That part's fine. So basically this means that its anti-armor ability is essentially removed. There's no form of impact on this whatsoever unless you take the Armor Shells missile upgrade. You also have a complete lack of surges unless you take the energy cell charges for critical 1, which I don't think it'll supplement all your surge needs. And more importantly, because this is a heavy weapon, a heavy slot, you can't use the special ability of this battle force on it. Because that ability only works on Special Forces core or support units. This is a heavy unit, so it will not be able to get the extra black and white die. It won't be getting the aim. It will not be increasing its speed. I think the fact that it can increase its speed is good, because this is a very large base unit, so it would basically just fly across the table. But yeah, losing all those surges and not having any ability to like gain the extra aims is not so great. Obviously, the main strategy with these things, from what I've heard, I've never actually played against these guys before. Most of our Separatist players are still somewhat new to the game, so they're still trying to figure out what they want to play. But from what I've heard of how these guys play, they fire at range 4 with their heavy repeating blaster and their missile option, and then they'll move. Then they'll do a move action, and then disembark all their dudes to have those dudes go out and fight. And then the following turn, if they're still alive, they start using their ion cannons and their heavy repeating blasters on you. Which is good. Basically, the change in this strategy is these guys just do a move first and then fire their missile, which I guess is now going to be bunker shells, to gain the blast and scatter effect, because you're going to need to be range 1 and 2 anyways. And just adding all these weapons up, you get 11 dice. Lots of black and white, though, with no surge, so it could be hit or miss there. The 2 red should roll well for you, though. And I guess you just try to eviscerate a unit or just really mess up a unit, because I don't think you're going to actually be killing a unit. you're probably just going to be seriously messing up a unit with this whole setup. Yeah, it is programmed, so you do need to take an AI upgrade. Overall, yeah, it just doesn't seem that impressive, to be honest. The fact that you can't use the AI ability on it is really depressing. If you could at least give it the aim token, it could then have the accuracy in its attack to really make a difference. But without that extra aim, it just will not be able to really do that much. I mean, you most could certainly run it if you have B1s in your list, but I mean, I guess the idea would be to like put this in front of your Magna Guards to protect your Magna Guards, but I think Droidicas could do that better, because at their full height, fully assembled, they block line of sight to Magna Guards or provide heavy cover. So Droidicas are a better option to keep your Magna Guards alive. I believe you can take 6 Magna Guards with rockets, the generic super tactical droid, and then 2 Droidica units. And the 2 Droidicas just cover your Magna Guards for round 1, and then round 2 your Magna Guards activate all of the surge token stuff to get the additional speed and just run in and start meleeing stuff. Or they just shoot range 2 with all the extra aim tokens or extra dice. So yeah, overall, this Battle Force does not look bad either. I definitely think this is another skew of just 6 Magna Guards, so heavy melee / range 1 to 2, which is still cool. I think, yeah, I think it's still good. I don't think the heavy option's that great. I mean, with core, we'll see how the 2 B1s work, if they're used at all. Special Forces, though, is great. I think the BX series Droid Commandos might work well with the Magna Guards, because you could use these abilities on the Droid Commandos. So extra aims for their 8 white, 2 red if you take a sniper, or increase their speed for their charge of their melee swords. I do think it's kind of funny that the BX series Droid Commandos, because they have surge and their swords give them red white, they're gonna have a better melee than the Magna Guards. But you know, we've seen stranger stuff. As for the support of the Droidicas, like I said, maybe you use them to block line of sight for the Magna Guards, but you maybe just put the other points into the Droid Commandos. Yeah, who knows? There's options. I definitely think the commander you want to take is a super tactical droid, for that direct AI. Though a T-Series could work if you just want the extra 40 points for more upgrades. Yeah, because you really just need to keep your commander alive, and I think the super tacticals would do that a little bit better. They could also strategize to give you even more tokens, so I don't know, you could gain in 1 aim, and then use the aim off the strategize with like a droid commando unit just to get like 10 hits with lethal 1. Or I guess it would be on average 7 or 8 hits with lethal 1, which is really good. Yeah, so the Special Forces / Core is going to be amazing. The Commander slot's amazing. Core's kind of situational. Depends on your love of B1s. Support is also situational, and Heavy is heavily situational. Not a bad Battle Force overall, though. Like I said, 6 Magna Guards, even if they're worse Magna Guards, is still going to be good because they have red saves. It's a red save army that wants to come into melee with you. It's basically the pseudo opposite of Wookiees, where Wookiees are like this white saves but heavy wound count. This list is lower unit count but red saves, so it's going to be interesting. Overall, though, I do like both Battle Forces. They both look really good, really balanced. I don't think the Experimental Droids is the true like Wookiee Invasion Force Battle Force that people are looking for. I don't really think that because there's no Dwarf Spider Droids in the unit squad list, and Dwarf Spider Droids were at the Battle of Kashyyyk. Magna Guards were at Kashyyyk, but there was only like a few units of them. There wasn't like an entire army of 6 units. There was maybe like, I don't know, I think in Republic Commando you fight 2 of them. So they were definitely in the city causing some chaos. But there was probably only like 3 squads of them. So I think a better like let's play the Invasion of Kashyyyk would just be to take the better Snell tank, or the one that's not in this battle force. Take 1 or 2 Dwarf Spider droids, a Magna Guard unit, and then just like a bunch of B1s and your super tactical droid. And I think that right there is the invasion force of Kashyyyk, which is regular list basically. But overall though, experimental droids do have that very, very interesting ability with their commander. That's super strong. And the Wookiee defenders have that speed 1 move after one of their guys dies in their units, which is also super strong. So both battle forces super strong, just like these last two, Tempest and Bright Tree. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see if experimental droids and Wookiee defenders are good, because obviously the last few tournaments people have just started to finally play Bright Tree and Tempest, so we'll have to see how these next two do. Like I said, oh yeah, my rating of experimental droids, competitively I'd probably give it an A+. A+, just like Wookiee defenders, but unlike Wookiee defenders, I'm not sure if it's going to go to S. Because yes, red saves are good, but they're still somewhat fragile at 5 wounds, whereas Wookiees just have 9. So even if they didn't roll saves, that would still be kind of a lot of health to hack through. With these Magna Guards with red saves, you could potentially wipe a unit with just 1 shot of like 14 dice. So yeah, you could potentially wipe out the Magna Guards pretty easily. They are immune melee pierce though, which is nice. Not immune pierce in general though. Oh yeah, and on the casual spectrum, experimental droids, probably just like a flat A, to be honest. I think casually, I think Separatist Invasion Force is a bit more fun just because of how many droids you can play. This does have that really crazy ability, but the unit listings isn't exactly the best. You have to really love the units that are on option, which I know my friend does, so this is, for him, this is like an S+ tier list because it has everything except for the AAT tank as an option that he loves. Yeah, but you do have to run everything somewhat limited. If you're not running 6 Magna Guards, you can only run 2 B1s, 2 B2s, so somewhat limiting. But overall, though, both these battle forces look pretty competitive, and yeah, they look good. I really like how they did these battle forces. They're not like super broken like Blizzard Force, but they're also pretty balanced, so yeah. And they're also usable. That's the main thing. They're usable. I can see them winning tournaments. A bit harder to see if experimental droids will win anything. With 6 Magna Guards, I think they will. But Wookiee defenders, yeah, absolutely. Just that speed 1 move, man. But yeah, experimental droids, though, with that AI ability and those Magna Guards, man, that'll be good, too. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I guess let me know if you'd like to see a video on any other battle forces. These battle forces have all been out for a while now, so I don't really think that video is necessary. But if you'd like to see it, let me know. Also, let me know if you'd like to see a review on all the other mini extravaganza stuff. I'm not planning on making that video, but if you guys want to see me put my opinion into the hat of how those units are, then let me know. And of course, check out the channel if you're interested in more Star Wars Legion stuff, or other type of content if you're checking out this video on the Fox Squadron channel. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. May the Force be with you. Good luck, and get rock and rollin'.